Marcus Rashford! Oh, glorious! That is a special one!
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everybody around the world. I am your host, Devin, and welcome to the United Hour. With me today, I have a very special panel. I've got the man Courtney, and I've got Mr. Cannot Be Missed, my twin in caps right now, as I hear, and showing up just in time as well, coming into the stream, we have Paul. Gentlemen, good afternoon. How's everybody doing today?
Just cool, man.
Paul gonna live long.
Paul, I get to save the best for last. I had to come
Good
in just at the right point, right?
Paul gonna live to 100, boy. As you call him and name him and each other.
Correct.
Yeah. Just in the cut time.
The only thing that when you do difference I heard is maybe throw our caps to the signal for him to show up and he pops up out of nowhere, right?
That's not the messy power chair.
Right. All right, so gentlemen, let's get started right now. Obviously, the big news today, there was a status put out today from Manchester United concerning the Mason Greenwood situation. It is quite a bit of a lengthy read, so let me get through it, and you all can take whatever you want from this. So, without further ado, official MUFC statement on Mason Greenwood. Following the dropping of all charges against Mason Greenwood in February 2023, Manchester United has conducted a thorough investigation into the allegations made against him. This has drawn on extensive evidence and context not in the public domain, and we have heard from numerous people with direct involvement or knowledge of the case. Throughout this process, the welfare and perspective of the alleged victim has been central to the club's inquiries, and we respect her right to lifelong anonymity. We have also responsibilities to Mason as an employee, as a young person who has been with the club since the age of 7, and as a new father with a partner. The fact-finding phase of our investigation is now complete, and we are in the final stages of making a decision on Mason's future. Contrary to media speculation, that decision has not yet been made and is currently the subject of intensive internal deliberation. Responsibility ultimately rests with the chief executive officer. Once made, the decision will be communicated and explained to the club's internal and external stakeholders. This has been a difficult case for everyone associated with Manchester United, and we understand the strong opinions it has provoked based on the partial evidence in the public domain. We ask for patience as we work through the final stages of this carefully considered process. So, gentlemen, I don't know about you, but that's basically the longest novel I've ever heard to say we haven't made our mind up yet.
Look, it's all about the optics. They have to toe a particular line, especially in the cancel culture that we live in. So, yeah, should they have said no? I think they're trying to control the narrative, for the lack of a better phrase, because the internet is rife with rumor right now. People reporting that a decision has been made, some people reporting a decision hasn't been made. So they had to come out and say something. Especially since they said that the decision should have been made by the start of the season. So, yeah.
Paul, what say you about that statement?
Yeah, definitely. They have to come out and say something because even before they made the statement, I think they were saying that they were going to make the statement before the game. And the trend is it just gets pushed back. You know, every time you keep hearing, okay, we're going to make a statement, and so they have to say something. You know, even if it's that they are still deciding, and everything that we basically know that they carried out an internal investigation, before making their decision, so that it looks good. It's PR basically, it's public relations. They have to reach out and say something. Although we know better, this is the case here in 2023. I have to cross the I's and dot the T's basically. Or cross the T's and dot the I's.
Yeah. Was that here?
Yeah.
Basically, the only real bits of truth, real serious truth that comes out of that is the fact that they repeated more than once that not all the facts were in the public domain, which is something as a fan base we've been telling each other all the time. That it's quite easy to sit here and say that you believe him, you believe her, you believe X, Y, or Z, but nobody in the public domain had all the facts of this situation. The facts were only with the people it happened to, with the police investigation, and I would like to think that all of those facts would have been made available to the club because they were conducting their own investigation. So that is the one thing I would agree with on them. But as to not having honestly made up their mind, and as I kept saying, they just signed a 9-year extension with Adidas as the shirt sponsor, right? Or as the brand that is manufacturing our shirt. So unless Adidas told them upfront in that negotiation, we really don't care what they decide about with Mason, right? We're going to renew the contract anyhow. They must have had something to tell Adidas, because at the end of the day, a company of that feature will be very particular over whose name goes on a jersey with their logo. So I feel they must have communicated something and they must have an idea of where they're leaning. But time will tell. Time will tell.
Indeed, it will. And for everybody watching in the comments right now, first thing you need to do is like, share, and subscribe. But after you do that, it's also we'd like to hear from you all. What is your take on this statement that came out from the club today? But without further ado, we're not going to focus the entire time on that. Some more news that came out, I think last night it was as well. West Ham United has apparently pulled their interest in Harry Maguire as he's taken too long to make up his mind to leave. The rumor is right now that he wants a multi-million-pound payoff to leave the club. And it seems as though the club is not willing to do that. Eric Ten Hag also came out and made a statement before the Wolves game saying that if Maguire wants to stay, then he needs to fight for his place and go from that. So, gentlemen, what is your take on this news now about Harry Maguire apparently not wanting to leave?
How old Harry is?
Say 29.
Harry about that bad.
Let me check that real quick.
I think it's 30. Yeah.
Yeah, Harry Maguire is actually 30. Yeah.
Right. He has.
Let me tell organize a game in Greece.
Harry has maybe what, 4 more years at the highest level, maybe. So for the most, he's going to get what? Maybe a 2-year contract. If
man saying highest level.
So I know vex with Harry, you know. Harry is about that bag. I cannot get back to the man. He had a security future before anything else. It's not like he's 25, 26, where he's in the prime of his career and, you know, we have a couple years again and he could afford to go down and probably catch a length and come back up. Nah, Harry had to look for that bag. So if Manchester United really wants him off the squad, pay him out and let him go.
Yeah, but the thing about go ahead.
We can't listen.
No, you go ahead. Sorry, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Paul. You go ahead.
Oh, no, Zahir, go ahead. Go. I am the host. You go ahead.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's what, right? I wear the hat. Devin wear the hat. Green and gold and things. Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
We hear you. Things that you're having connection issues.
All right. So while Zahir is having his typical connection issues, we'll go to Paul.
Yeah. No, the thing about it, if I'm wrong, he is going across to West Ham. He's going to obviously get a new contract, but he's going to be paid as well he's going to be paid extra 9 mil for the to any contract, right? And then he wants to get on top of that, he wants to be bought out of his contract as well. So you want to go to another club and get paid and then still want to get paid for not being at Manchester United. I mean, come on, how much? What does he really want? You know, how much money he really he really wants, and what he has earned already. On top of that, you know, for all these years, yes, I understand what you say. Could need, you know, about making sure you have your bag and whatnot. But I mean, you know, it's not making sense.
Harry didn't ask to leave. Harry still has a contract with Manchester United.
True.
Really and truly, Manchester United should really buy out Harry's contract in order to get him to leave. And for that buyout to happen, the two parties have to agree on the valuation. If Harry won 14 million and Man U only offering 9, Harry's under no obligation to take that 14 because he go in and get that 14 if he sit on the bench for the next season or however long the duration of his contract is.
Yeah, but he really wanted to sit down on the bench just for that, just for the money. I know money is money is what they playing for, and this is the main thing. But
unless Gareth Southgate calls up Harry and tells Harry, here's what, partner, you're getting bench and you can't make my England squad unless you start to play regular football, then there is nothing we do that will convince him otherwise. And the sad thing about it is this: if his name was not Harry Maguire, I'm sure somebody would have called him up from the England camp already and tell him, here what, partner, if you're not sweating for Manchester, you can't sweat for England. Right? I'm pretty sure if his name was Harold Kumar or any other foreign player, the media would have had an outcry about he should just pack up and go. The so-called pundits would have been saying he should pack up and go.
No,
right? But it's an England player, so everything he do is okay. And this comes back to, again...
No, to be fair, Zahir, it have a lot of pundits that saying that Harry needs to leave. You know, they're all saying that, look.
Yeah, they're saying he needs to leave, but for his England career. They're not saying that, you know, they're not blasting him. They're not blasting him for the fact that, you know. And again, this is lingering effects of Glazeronomics and poor decisions from Woodward right now again. And it's starting a precedent because I don't know if you all heard, but apparently there's a story for a buyout of $700,000 on his contract to leave. Even to those papa. It's all kind of monkey pants will open up. You know, everybody who you want to get rid of will start a job money to buy nobody. We have money to be paying off. Nah, man. Let me organize a game in Greece now. That might be the quickest.
I hear why so.
So I just want to read out this comment from Robert. Before that, good afternoon to Ms. Martin Phillip. Always one of the first to comment. Always. Robert is saying he doesn't want to leave all that money on the floor, left over from Glazer, Woodward, and company.
What? I can't vex with the man for that. The man had to secure his family, you know. At the end of the day, that's what he had to do.
Well, I will have to agree with what everybody's saying here. I think the only way that he truly leaves his position right now is if it finally Southgate decides, all right, well, he should have done a while ago, and if you're not playing for club, you can't play for country. And then we will see what he cares about more.
But clearly using money because he's not going to get any playing time while he's at Manchester.
But
let's be honest.
Paul, here's the thing with this though. He has not been playing, but he's still been selected in all the previous sides for England as well. So he right now, Maguire is basically like, you know what? All I gotta do is keep myself fit, and Southgate will call me up no matter what. And I get
how long?
As a question. And and that's what I was getting to as well. Saying that is the only way that I see that he would be willing to do something different right now.
And even if this window closes in what?
2 weeks.
14 days? Let me say 14 days, right? 15 days. So let's say the window closes and he hasn't been sold. Southgate comes and says, if you're not playing regularly, you're not getting an England call-up. The most that is going to happen is that he's going to go on loan in January. Because I think the Euros is next year.
Correct.
So he's looking for a spot on the last Euros.
Yeah.
You feel like that there's no joke. Them fellas not playing, you know. It's just them fellas playing, and we still at some point playing checkers. My thing is cut your losses. If you want 14 million, give me 14 million.
The thing is,
So
if he doesn't move before,
so the issue
if
with
he
this
doesn't
now,
move in this window or before this window closes, and
Zahir, I don't know. You're talking, but I think you're freezing too.
all right. So once again, the issue with this now is if they pay him out now to do this, does that not set a precedent for other players who just want to down tools and
But
leave as well?
He wouldn't be the first player that we paid out. He wouldn't be the first.
I don't think that we paid out a lot of them.
honestly,
I don't think.
I don't know. I can't remember any
I don't
others.
think we paid
I
off
know
Ronaldo's.
we
I think
pay
we
off
just paid, like,
managers.
Hold on. Just because we don't know that it happened, that don't mean it's not happening. The only reason that we know is because it's in the public domain. But I'm perfectly sure that we paid off players before and said, okay, cool, you want to leave, X, Y, and Z, let's think. They just wouldn't, because everything went smooth, it didn't come out in the public. But I'm perfectly sure that he's not the first player. It's just that it's now out in the public domain.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember dealing with. Yeah, I remember we were dealing with the Glazers. You know, they're just money hungry. So.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. If
we will come down.
If Wale really want him, because when his contract expired.
Let me check that real quick.
I think it's 2 years. I'm mistaken.
Let me check. His contract expires in 2025.
2025, right? So he sat on the bench for the rest of the year. Takes us to 2024. Gareth Southgate doesn't make a move. He sits on the bench for the majority of the season. We need 2024-2025 window. 2024-2025 window. And assuming that we could get him to leave, we're making real assumptions here. If we really and truly want him off of the books, no. Pay the man, let the man go.
Oh, sorry, I stand corrected. It's the end of the 2025-2026 season. And there's the option year if he wants. So yeah. So he's still got 3 more years to run on his contract.
Correct. And he could sit on for the next 3 years and hit we have Phil Jones.
All right. The other thing, I don't know if you guys hearing me. Is my audio back on?
Yes.
The other thing you gotta look at, the longer it takes for him to leave, if he is staying at the club and not playing, his value is going down. So let us say we agreed, according to reports, a fee of 30 million with West Ham. The sticking point is paying off Harry. If we don't pay him off and he doesn't go, in a year time or even in 6 months time in the January window, if he hasn't played, nobody offering us 30 million for him. That figure is going to go down to 25 or 20 million. And we still going to have to find money to pay off a part of his contract. So if they really and truly want him, going, like Courtney saying, I coming around to the idea of pay the man the whatever he asking for now and still get 30 million from West Ham for him and let him ride out.
Yeah.
Make life easy.
When you put it like that, yeah, that makes the most sense.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I know we could speak about Maguire's situation all day long, but for anybody that watched Monday's match, there was a moment of controversy, depending on who you speak with at all, and it's been brought up many times. I've been asked about this by not only United fans, but as well as fans from other clubs as well. So we have to bring it up here. was it a penalty or not? And for anybody who is not aware of what I am referring to with this, Wolverhampton Wanderers were playing a cross into the box. I can't remember which player it was. Went for a ball. It missed him. Andre Onana came off his line looking for it. Did not get anywhere near the ball. And what I could best describe as probably a clothesline in the air took the man out, but was nowhere near getting the ball. The VAR went and checked it, and no penalty was given. However, come to find out later on that the officials were taking off officiating duties for this upcoming weekend due to it. So, gentlemen, I do have to ask, and this is also for anybody watching as well, feel free to answer in the comments too. Was it a penalty?
Yeah. I saw it in real time and I was like, yeah, boy, penalty, boy. I was shocked that they didn't give it.
Yeah, me too. I immediately when it happened, I remember because I have one on my fantasy team. I remember saying to myself, well, all right, I guess you have to save a penalty here to get some extra points. Because I thought it was a clear penalty. I was surprised when they didn't refer to VAR, or well, at least didn't call it.
The thing is, Onana's sheer physical presence makes it look really bad. Eh? To be quite honest, as much as I love De Gea, if that was De Gea going for that ball, De Gea might have get bumped off from the player and fall on the ground. De Gea wasn't cleaning up nobody. He'd probably get cleaned up trying to get that ball. Right? But Andre is, with all due respect, a big beast. He's coming through. Now, he never got close to the ball. So, therefore, all he was is take for the player. Could he have stopped his momentum? Obviously not. Could he have done anything to? Obviously not. But I don't know the specifics of all details of the rules, so I had to go with what the referee said. The referee said no penalty. No penalty.
So I have to interject on this one. To me, in real time, I saw it and I said he made it. Yes, he tried to go for the ball, but got nowhere near it and took out the man. Nowhere near the ball. I played as a goalkeeper myself, and I was always taught if you come off your line like that, you better make sure you get even a fingertip on that, because you're putting yourself in position to concede a penalty if not. To me, in real time, I saw it and I instantly said, oh God, that's a penalty. VAR went and checked it and they said no penalty, and I was even more stunned after the fact. So to me, but you look at the VAR rules, in order for them to overturn it, it would have had to have been a clear and obvious mistake. I think the only reason why the VAR did not overturn it or anything like that, well, actually I stand corrected, because then didn't the official also go over to the monitor to look at it as well? And still decided no, it was not a clear and obvious mistake. So and this goes into something that I have been asking for as well. So I would like to see the officials be interviewed to explain their decision-making process for everybody to understand. So I think that would answer a lot of questions as well, because I have seen this clip repeatedly and I cannot figure out how that was not given as a penalty. I don't know if this had anything to do with the new rule change where they said more physical contact was going to be allowed. I don't know if that had something to play into it as well. But I knew that this was going to be controversial. And this will be brought back up again, especially if Wolves are relegated by 2 points, or if we miss out on a league or a top 4 spot if we only win a league or top 4 by 2 points, people will bring this up as well too. They won't mention that they still would have had to score the penalty anyway, because there was no guarantee they would have scored it. But I still could see this being a bit of controversy now. We're not going to hear the end of it. And also the fact that it's Manchester United, you know that it's going to be aired repeatedly over and over again versus if it was another club. So Martin Phillip is saying in the comments that this is not the first time that such an incident was not called. Many goalkeepers have said that's no penalty. I heard Tim Howard mention Tim Howard is our
I wonder
broadcast
if it
as
had
well.
been a
So with that being said, he said that he thought it was a penalty, but he had a feeling it was not going to get called because that has not been called in the past. But as I have told everybody else, especially the opposing teams who are trying to somehow blame that on us and everything, I tell them like this: I am not the ref. I am not the one that made the decision. Speak to that person about it. There's nothing that I could have done. You don't see me celebrating that win. You don't see me saying that, yeah, we played great and all that too, because quite frankly, we did not play that well. So I'm not going to celebrate that. I'm not sitting here acting like something was great. But you have an issue with that penalty, take it out with the ref, not the United fans.
Exactly, and I mean, how many controversial calls have there been? You know, we see it every season. We see it almost every week. There's always at least one call that is a little bit dubious. You know, sometimes it goes against us. Sometimes we're on the other end of it. You know, for example, the Casemiro red card last season. You know, just to name one example. So, you know,
Yeah, and I saw some
sometimes
tackles
it,
there.
sometimes it happens in your favor. Sometimes it goes against you. I mean, that's just the nature of the game.
I saw some tackles there on Monday. That's yeah, boy. I was like, this ref don't want to put out Casemiro get away from about a good 2 yellow cards or not.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the way it is. Sometimes it goes in your favor. Sometimes it doesn't. You know, we were lucky and fortunate that
I honestly,
it went in our favor. You know, it's the game.
if he had left Martinez on the field in the second half, I feel Martinez would have gotten a red card if he had stayed on the field.
I agree.
Yeah.
He looked off the pace
That's-
as well too.
I think
So
that's why he took him off too, because he didn't want to risk him for the yellow card.
I read it was something to do with that he was dealing with some sort of injury or something like that.
Yeah.
That he was saying it was not due to the yellow card as well, but because I felt he looked slow as well. So all it took him was mistiming something because he was not to full speed, and all of a sudden that's a second yellow.
Yeah, true.
And gentlemen, I do have to ask now. So we're getting about to that halfway point of the show. We definitely covered a few of the topics right now, but I wanted to take the second half of the show to focus on two big things right now. And the first one of these right now is based upon what you have seen so far. I don't know if you want to include the preseason in this, okay, fine. But I would prefer that we focus just on what you saw from the Wolves game on Monday. Do you think Manchester United is ready for this season? And I will leave this as an open question right now.
Yes and no. I think
If
there's
you
a
mean
sorry, I don't know if I interrupted Zaire, but yeah, yes and no in terms of we are still trying to get our targets. I mean, obviously that game was not best. There was a lot of things wrong. The chemistry between Mount and Bruno was something that just didn't look on point. We still have the problem of the number 9, Rashford playing in that number 9 role. I feel as if we need to. Well, obviously we're waiting on Hoyland to be fully fit to start in that number 9 role. Because yeah, we just looked off of it in a lot of aspects. So I would say, although we have the players, we still getting there. You know, you could see that guys were still out of sync. You know, that the chemistry isn't fully there yet, especially in midfield. You know, a lot of the times Mount and Fernandes found themselves too high up the pitch, and you know, they left Casemiro alone with all the work to do. You know, so a lot of things definitely have to clean up, but I think we will get there, but just have to work out the kinks.
Yeah, I agree with Paul. We didn't look good. I think the midfield was way too open. Like I was watching something that was analyzing the game, and we realized that there's when we split and we play that ball wide, nobody's coming in the center of the park to demand the ball. So we have this whole big gaping. We had this hole in the center of the park, especially when we were attacking, that we weren't playing through. And normally Casemiro comes in that role and picks up the ball, but for some weird reason he wasn't doing it. So I think that middle three has to work out some kinks, and if they saying two had to stay or one go one stay, however they work it out, that they had to work it out amongst themselves, because they're not looking like a unit at all. We looked a lot more, even people as knock Fred and McTominay, but when either one of them were in that position, even Christian Eriksen, we looked, because in the second half, we looked a lot more fluid. We weren't at our best, but we looked a lot more fluid than how we looked in the first half. So I don't know. We'll wait and see how things look on when we play Spurs over the weekend.
Zahir?
Listen, if you consider pulling out for a lucky win when you should have lost away to secure 3 points, well, then we're ready. We're ready to secure 3 points. Because if Wolves had a half-decent striker or a half-decent player up front who could put away chances, that game was finishing about 5-1 in their favor. We could have easily get hit for 5, at least, not checking the possibility of a penalty in a mineral showing. So if we consider that type of victory a way that United going to get 3 points, just fight down to the end and hold on to 1-0, well, yeah, they're ready, because that seems to be the only thing they're ready for right now.
Well, when you look at it, it is not. I mean, yeah, it was a disappointment. It was obviously a horrible performance, but it's not things that are not fixable, especially too when it comes to upfront, because we did have a couple of opportunities, as kind of half opportunities as well, for Rashford, but I felt like when Sancho came on, yeah, that was a difference as well too. It made things a lot more fluid. There was better interplay, between the forwards. You could see more intent in the second half as well. It still wasn't our best game. There was still a lot of passes that were right. Bruno was definitely off his game. Besides the pass to Wan-Bissaka to set up the goal, I mean, he didn't really do much. So yes, that's why I say yes and no. I mean, yes, it was bad, but I think it's things that could be fixed. It could be easily fixed, You just have to make some adjustments tactically, from the standpoint of how we attack, especially when we meet a team like Wolves, who's so disciplined and was trying to compress us. How we attack that, as Courtney rightfully said, somebody has to make themselves present, and show in that midfield to get us into that transition from defense to offense. You understand? So, yeah, that's although it was bad, it's things that could be fixed.
Yeah, I wanted to put up before, so I had scores that are posted up from previous matches that we've had. It seems that these matches against Wolves are always very low scoring, and had to grind it out. I for one would actually argue that our Tahith Chong wannabe that ran on the pitch probably saved us from either Onana save or a goal. because I don't know if you remember which moment I'm talking about during the match, where they were building up play and they looked good, and it looked like something was about to happen before that guy ran on the pitch. So, as I told people before, that guy was my man of the match. I still stand by that.
Yeah, that was our time. That was the best run of the game for us.
Correct. Apparently, Tahib Chong has had enough at Luton Town and wanted to come back already. You know what? That guy may have a couple years banned from Old Trafford, but I'm pretty sure that he will not have to buy a pint anytime soon anywhere near Old Trafford before any match as well too. Martin Phillip is answering again, and he's saying his answer is no. He believes United looks flat. Onana saved the day. He's saying, is it the lack of games before the season started? He does not know, but 3 points is 3 points. Spurs will play. Spurs will pay. I want to focus on a couple things there. His first part, he believes United look flat. I agree with that. They look very off the pace. Look just so offensive minded. They forgot to play in the midfield properly, and pretty much left Casemiro with 3-on-1s, 4-on-1s the entire match. Onana saved the day. That I agree with as well too. He also almost cost us the day too, because like I said, I still believe that was a penalty. Asking if it's a lack of games before the season started, I would have to disagree with that one, because for the most part, with the exception of Onana, everybody was in pretty much before everybody took off for the preseason tour of the States. The lineups were experimented with a lot. So I don't I have to disagree with the lack of games on that one. However, I wholeheartedly agree. 3 points is 3 points. And I mean, any team that's won the Premier League will tell you don't play beautiful every match. However, if you do enough just to get the 3 points, whether it's lucky or not or whatever, that is what matters at the end of the day. And he's saying Spurs will pay, which kind of it leads me into what will be my last main topic of the day for this week. We're going to get into United versus Spurs. Gentlemen, we all saw what happened on the weekend now. Let me pull up the scores from the I think Spurs played Brentford, if I'm correct. Let me check that now. Yes, so that is correct. Spurs and Brentford played. Match finished 1-1. I'm trying to think. I can't remember the goal scores in that one now. But coming up now, it's obviously Spurs are without their main man, Harry Kane. They're going to have a little bit more time now to get adjusted to...
Correct. It finished 2-2 actually.
Sorry, 2-2. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, finished a draw at the end of the day. Yeah, I think was it Mbumo scored for the Mbumo score? I think he did, or he had an assist. Yeah. Something like that. But either way, coming into this match now on Saturday, you're going to have a Spurs team who's looking to make a statement. You're going to have a new manager, Ange Postecoglou, who's going to want to show this team can thrive without Harry Kane. It's going to fall onto everybody's favorite Asian right now in the Premier League, Son. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts about Saturday now against Spurs?
If we play like how we played against Wolves, we're going to get thumped up. I'll call it a draw. I don't know what the scoreline will be, but I think we'll end up with a draw. Because for all intents and purposes, Spurs are looking too bad enough. Brentford played a pretty good game and Spurs played a pretty decent game. You know, and they're not looking as shaky as one would think without Harry Kane.
I mean, you gotta ask yourself, even without Harry, and even the way people has been ragging on Richarlison for underperforming. If you look at Richarlison, Son, and now Maddison, those three are much better finishers and capable of taking chances than the men Wolves had in front. If you give them three fellas the kind of chances you give Wolves, we dead. We will die.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. We definitely can't play the way we did on Monday. Especially as the game is away from home, and we all know the struggles away from home last season, especially against the top 10 opposition. I think it's top 9 or top 10. I think we only got like 1 point away from home, so we have to definitely come out and be more locked in, or we could be in for a long day against them. But if I was to predict, I would say I believe that we will come good, and I think we could squeak out something. We could squeak out I'll give it a 2-1 scoreline against Spurs. Because Spurs, I mean, yes, they play well offensively. They're looking good under the new manager, but they also have some deficiencies in their defense as well, which I think we could take advantage of once we play the right way. So I expect Manchester United to bounce back, and I feel we could take this 2-1.
All right, so we have a draw, we have a win. Zahir, what say you?
We lost that here.
No, he's saying 2-1.
2-1 to United. 2-1 United. 2-1.
That's all. That's all. I'm not going to describe why you're saying that. Anything of the sort.
Listen. The center of the park for Manchester is the big worry right now. I mean, as much as we don't have a proper number 9, and you could clearly see how much Marcus isn't the guy to fill in that role. That if that wasn't obvious before, the Wolves game would have made that very obvious, right? The center of the park was just horrendous. It almost looked like if those guys never played football together. And that's hard to believe because they played through the preseason together. They've been training together for weeks. They must have had time to work on cohesion and chemistry and an understanding, right? I've taken a peek into the comments and I've seen Shabaka mentioning that Garnacho should not start. And I would agree with that. I wouldn't start the youth. I would probably start, if you want to start Anthony on the right? You either start Sancho on the left or take a punt with Sancho through the middle or Martial through the middle and start Rashford on the left. But I would not be starting Garnacho in this game. I think he has to understand that for now, he has to hold on to that impact player off the bench until he really develops more consistency and adds a little more to his game. Because that start on Monday.
So I just want to go through some of these comments right now because we are getting a lot of people answering on this one. Good afternoon to Mr. Mark Lewis. And he is saying it's going to be another tough game. We could win, but not playing like how we played on the weekend. I think he corrected himself saying not how he played on Monday. Good afternoon to Shabaka. And he's saying Garnacho should not start the next game, and the same for Mason Mount. They all look the same, similar to preseason. Garnacho, Rashford, Bruno, and Anthony all playing individual and not cohesively like a team. Ten Hag tactics went off, has been really off, and he cannot do the same which he did on Monday against Spurs because the score would reflect would reflect what all of you gentlemen, I guess he meant to say what all you gentlemen are saying. Martin Phillip is saying that Spurs will be beaten 3-1. Rashford and Bruno will come to the party. He's also saying if Martinez is really injured for that team, will Harry play against Spurs? I think we all can agree on that answer. Do y'all want to say it and count to 3 and say it?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm playing before Victor, right?
Lindelof will go in that spot.
Lindelof will start, yes.
Bailly.
But he's no longer at the club, sir.
No, he still is. He has not left yet.
Rather play Johnny Evans or Eric Bailly. Bailly still at the club, too.
I don't think Evans got a contract.
Eric Bailly is still at this club.
Yeah, Bailly is still under contract at United.
Evans got a 1-year deal.
Okay.
But I think
They gave Evans a 1-year deal. I'd rather play Evans, Bailly,
Lindelof.
I hear you. Sure this guy is not you in disguise?
Anybody but Harry.
But I believe just to let you all know, I believe the
Who's that,
Martinez injury. No, the Martinez injury is not as serious as suspected. I think it was just a precaution. So he should be starting Saturday. You know, so but we wait to hear the news. But I think he should be fine.
All right, well, gentlemen, we've covered the serious topics of the evening.
But
Now,
I
and now
would
it's time
play.
to have a little bit of fun.
I'd play Scott. I would play McTominay there before Harry.
To be fair, he does play that for Scotland, so there is that possibility. There is also the possibility of bringing back Luke Shaw into the center back as well too. But gentlemen,
Bring back
we
Phil
have
Jones and
covered
Ferrari.
the serious points, and so now it's time to have a little fun at the end of the show. And so we will start with the memes of the week, new, popular, and by request. So without further ado, we'll start with the first one right now. Chelsea snap up Ronald McDonald for club record fee after Jurgen Klopp mentioned to a mate he was going out to buy a Big Mac and fries. So for those who are not aware of what this is going on about, back-to-back right now, Liverpool were going after big targets, apparently had fees agreed, but out of nowhere, Chelsea came in and said, hold this money, come to us. The next one right now, I don't think I really need to explain this one right now.
This take win.
Fulham announcing the signing of Adama Traore by
What would
posting a
somebody
picture of
post
the Euro.
on Harry, boy?
We do have another one
What
right
would anybody
now.
post on Harry, boy?
Harry Kane missed Son so much he found a new one at Bayern in Kim Min-jae.
Oh man.
No.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Wrong.
You're wrong for that.
Wrong.
I know this one, probably nearly everybody on this panel, and probably half of the viewers will relate to this one.
Oh yeah.
No comment. No comment. No comment.
Fresh air.
Brittany, what family you have watching?
Fresh
No
air.
comment.
for all Brittany's family watching, this is a complete opposite. Brittany is a very studious person. His fantasy team is horrible, and his studies are better. There you go, Courtney.
Yeah, that looks about right.
I don't think you'll find anybody. I don't think you'll find anybody disagreeing with that one.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have another one coming here right now.
Chelsea's
Chelsea's new midfield will now be called LFC. Lavia, Fernandez, and Caicedo all turned down Liverpool to join Chelsea.
Brighton is the big winners for this transfer window, you know. Them real getting through, no?
Correct. And
Chelsea
last
has
a lot of
paid Brighton around 222 million.
And last but most certainly not least, had to save this one here.
Well, they're wrong for this. They're wrong for this, boy.
This one win. This one win for sure. This one win for sure. The internet are not chill. The internet are not chill, boy. They're not chill.
Internet is always undefeated. That goes without saying.
But on a real though, boy, if somebody had to announce this sign Maguire, what they would post, boy, like how Fulham probably have Butler baby, boy. What they posting for Harry, boy?
I'll post our fridge. I'll post our fridge.
Come down from there, please. Come down from there.
I feel you put one of them sweatbands that you just put around your forehead. Yeah, I post up a little sweatband.
I would post a picture of fridge.
Well,
Really?
gentlemen, and now it
Empty
is time
fridge.
for. I made sure to save quite a bit of time this week for my favorite segment out of everything on the shows right
Go away, Mama Loca Boo Boo Day. Shut your mouth, go away, Mama Loca Boo Boo Day.
Saving it our segment right now. We have the Top Shotta and Boo Boo Man. So my favorite segment, probably a lot of the panels as well, everybody else. So for those who are not aware of this, the Top Shotta is that person, team, could be whatever you want, where basically everything they're touching it is going to gold. They have the Midas touch this week. They can do absolutely no wrong in anybody's eyes right now. And the Boo Boo Man is the complete opposite of that. Everything they touch, everything they do just turns into, well, boo boo. So, with that being said, gentlemen, I will start with Paul for this one. Give me your Top Shotta and Boo Boo Man for this week.
Top shotter for this week has to be Onana. I mean, that goes without saying. He was the man of the match. He pulled off 6 saves, 6 incredible saves in his debut. You know what? Kept a clean sheet. He didn't set a foot wrong. I mean, it had a little questionable penalty, but you know that was it. But yeah, top shotter for me was Onana. And Boo, a tough one by Maguire. I mean, although he didn't play, you know, and just, you know, that goes without saying. I don't need to explain.
All right, very well then, and I will keep it going in a counterclockwise order. So Zahir.
I'll do this. I hope everybody hearing me. The Boo Boo Man have to be Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool Football Club. They're moving like a thirsty man in a club, and every girl you run down, a next man go away with she. Now that's what specifically Chelsea, right? So they can't catch a break to save their life right now. You understand? Everybody that say Pep is the grandmaster and he playing chess. Well, right now, Chelsea playing checkers with Liverpool. If Livers don't eat, they're getting hot, right? My top shotter for the week, little left field, but I'm going with the England women's football team, specifically our 3 United players on the team, Mary Earps, Ella Toon, who scored in the semi-final victory, and Katie Zellan. I'm going to big up our Lady Devils and the entire. I would love it to see the Manchester United women and the rest of the England team lifting that trophy before the men could ever get their foot into a final again. So big up to the England women and to the United Devils on the team.
Right, Courtney.
My top shotter for the week is the Australian women's team. Even though they lost to England in the semis, throughout the tournament, they played with a lot of grit and determination and heart. And they were one of the underdog teams for the tournament. They really did step up their game. My Boo Boo Man for this week is Luton Town. All they know while they was coming in the Premiership, he always stayed them in again, put things in place now for the second week, for the first 2 games of the season. But they can't play home because all they in Pixie Stadium. Organize all their life now.
All right, Courtney, you froze? Are you there? Okay. All right, so now we gotta save me now for my top shot and Boo Boo Man. My Boo Boo Man for this week has to be none other than a certain Harry, but not Maguire. Harry Kane. Harry Kane leaves Tottenham to finally win some silverware. And what happens in his first match at Bayern Munich at a team that is a powerhouse for winning trophies? You lose 3-0, man scores a hat trick against you, and you bring it's like you left Tottenham to bring Tottenham to Bayern Munich now.
We boy Devin boy.
Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody tell me that I'm wrong.
Yeah, but you can't blame the man for that. He was there what, a week before if so long?
He heavy them. He heavy in Bayern right now.
Well, they're legend, boy. Well, legend.
And my top shotter for this week.
Heavy vibes. Heavy vibes.
I would have to give it to. I think. See, this one I'm between a person or a team. Still can't decide on this one. You know what? I will have it. I will have it a tie right now. Sandro Tonali and Newcastle United. That is how you. I mean, it's very hard to top a Premier League debut after what he did, scoring a brace like that. Especially after the memes when he first came out saying he did not even want to be there and doing all that. You didn't hear a word out of him. It was kind of just like, just wait and see. I gotta respect it. And they came out, Newcastle. Boy, I can tell you this right now. After seeing what I saw from Newcastle and watching these latest performances with Manchester City, do not be surprised if they take 3 points off Man City this weekend. Like if I was a betting man, not saying if I am or not, but if I were a betting person, that might be a bet looking into Newcastle win. Just saying. But gentlemen, it has definitely been a great show today. Before I shut it down, anybody have any parting words?
We'll see how City runs with that Kevin De Bruyne injury. I didn't watch the Spurs Cup game, so I'm not sure how they looked, if they looked cohesive without him. But
they definitely looked very off, but I think they were surprised more so at the fact that Sevilla basically played the low block as long as they could and tried to hit them on counters when they could, and they struck first because of it. It took a header from Cole Palmer, which everybody thought Erling Haaland was going to take, but Palmer called Haaland off, and he headed it in for that. It went to penalties, and everybody scored with the exception of Sevilla's last penalty taker, which let Man City lift the Super Cup. But they did not look that cohesive, and I think Sevilla showed the blueprint for how to find chinks in Man City's armor, especially without De Bruyne in there for now.
All right.
But any more parting words, everybody?
Selling Mahrez will come back to bite them.
But Mahrez wanted to leave.
Selling Mahrez will come back to bite City this season. Yeah,
Mahrez
but now you have no De Bruyne. I agree.
But
I agree. But
you have Rodri.
Want to go, and you don't necessarily have to go.
I think they'll miss Gundogan even more. No. Because Gundogan is in that midfield, even when De Bruyne. Yeah, but even when KDB was out, because there were times last year he wasn't always fit to play for City, right? It looks like he's been struggling with it for a while. But even when KDB was out, Gundogan seemed to be the man to step up. But now that Gundogan is gone, I think that is a big hole that they missed in there in the midfield. More so than Mahrez. Mahrez is okay because you have people like Foden and Grealish who could fill it. But Gundogan to me is the one they'll miss even more than Mahrez.
Well, gentlemen, it's definitely been a great show. Thank you so much, Courtney.
Is the lockdown Paqueta from West Ham? Well,
I wish everybody all the best. Here's the 3 points on the weekend. And Red Devils, we keep that red flag flying high because Man United will never die.